Okay, so in order to calculate a percentage of an amount, there's a few little steps, but they're pretty straightforward. So I'm just going to look at A for a start. So realistically, we need to look at doing 12%, and we just basically write it as a whole number. Percent obviously means that we're actually dividing by 100. Alright, so divide by 100 and we end up with 0.12. All we need to do from there now is actually just say, well, 0.12 of means times. So we're going to take out 12% or 0.12. We're going to multiply it by the amount 480. So once we've actually got that, we just look at basically punching that exactly as it is through our calculator. 0.12 times by 480, and we end up with $57.60. So that's pretty straightforward in terms of that. Certainly when we look a little bit further forward, writing amounts as percentages. Now this is basically how I go about finding the percentage for your tests and other assessments and things like that. And it really is just taking the first amount and then putting it over the second amount as a fraction. So looking at A again, we have $90 as a percentage of $450. As I said, we basically just need to write it as a fraction, so we take out $90, put the dollar sign there if you like, and we put it over $450. Because we're looking for a percentage, alright, we are eventually going to times it by 100, so we might as well do that while we're here. Again, we just take it through our calculator, same way, and we just press in 90 divided by 450, and that will give us 0.2. We times that by 100, and that will give us 20%. And there it is. We'll just do we'll do I really quickly. I'll throw it in over this side. I. So 345.60 cents, and we're going to put that over the amount 180.75. Now obviously with the larger number being on top this time, it's actually going to give us a percentage that's actually bigger than 100. So if you do see that come up every now and then, don't stress too much. That is perfectly normal. So 345.6, and we're going to divide that by 180.75, and that's actually going to give us 1.91. I'm just going to go 1.91 as a rounding, and then to turn to a percentage, we multiply it by 100. So punch that through the calculator, and we end up with 191.20%, and there we have it. Moving on. Calculate selling price on discounts. I'll highlight that discount, and then on a markup. So discounts obviously meaning we're actually taking it a little bit cheaper. There's a couple of little steps involved in this also as well. The easiest way to think about it is take this 25%, and we're going to take that away from 100% to start with. So we have our 100%. We're going to minus our 25%, and we end up with hang on, I'll just fix that, got ahead of myself, and we end up with 75%. From here, all we need to be looking at is actually just turn this into a decimal. So 75 divided by 100 is going to give us 0.75. We can now basically just call that 75% of the 185 that we're looking for. So 0.75, we multiply that because multiply is of 185, And again, we're just going to punch it through the calculator, and we end up with 0.75 multiplying by 185, and we have 138.75. Really important, we are looking at dollar amounts, so being really particular, we do want to make sure that we're having the dollar sign there so that we can get our full marks in that. Markup's a little bit different, but much similar. So this time, because we're actually marking up, it means we're going to sell the price or sell an item for more than what the original price is, which was our 340. So similar to what we did over here with our minus 25. This time we're actually going to take our 100%, and it's a markup, so we're going to add 35% to have 135% as a total. Again, let's turn that into a decimal. Got the I in that time. 135, and we divide that by 100, and we end up with 1.35. Similar to what we did down here. Alright, we are looking at finding a percentage of this now. So it is now 1.35. We're going to multiply it by the dollar amount, which was our $340. So 1.35. And we're going to multiply by 340. And we end up with dollar amount, $459 even. And that are the basics of the markup, discount. Oh, don't want that. And so forth. Thank you very much for watching.